Payday. Get to it.
Payday is here and the check is in the mail.
It feels anthemic.
It's got a little up to it.
That wasn't it, Pay.
No.
Oh, man.
No, I
Now, let me tell you something.
prefaced it,
Uh,
but
the piano riff is so emotional,
okay.
and then I don't know what this thing is here.
Right. Okay. So
So take that piano riff.
okay.
When did you make that beat? Years and years ago?
What time is it right now? About an hour and a half ago.
Okay. Well, all right. Take that piano riff,
Okay.
run with that,
Okay.
because the piano riff is tremendous,
Okay.
but the first kind of drop, there was like a bunch of
The little chatter and
chaos.
chaos.
It didn't work.
No EDM for you.
No, because that piano riff is so thought-provoking,
Okay.
I feel like that needs to be the focal point, and then put mad 808s in the back of it.
Well, the Mad 808s are there, but I can
They're not heavy enough.
You haven't heard it in your truck yet.
I have not. I think you're on to something.
Okay.
I just don't think that you got to keep working with that one. I don't see us live here.
I'm watching us live. I see Cybacil and Ryden is in there. Jay Lapolo is in there.
Oh, the boys are there. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to try again over here. Let's do it like this. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sean. Yeah, I don't know what's up, dude. I guess, where are you live at?
I'm looking at it on the studio thing.
All right. I guess we're live.
And Jay Lapolo can clearly see me because he's commenting that I look like a 34-year-old with the beard shaved in.
Yeah, it definitely shaved a couple of years off. There it is. There's the live.
You thinned me up.
Now I see it. Just got home from riding. Perfect timing.
Good.
Aid got off the bicycle. He's dripping in sweat, I'm sure. Put us on, hop in the tank, clean yourself up. It was a good day for riding. I, my friend, was not doing that.
No.
I was stuck inside of a headache after a headache. I cannot escape the headaches of the construction world these past 2 weeks.
Okay.
I've really been giving a lot of thought to hanging it up. Maybe just tying up a bed sheet.
Oh, hanging you up.
Yeah, and jumping off the top tier, dude, because I can't deal with it anymore.
I had suicide on my list of topics for today and everything. That's perfect segue.
Oh, man, I don't know how much longer I could do it. I think I was... So for a long time, first off, hello, come on in.
Good evening. Take your boots off.
Take your Timbs off and wipe them on the carpet, and then put your hat next to the doorknob and spin your pants around backwards like you were crisscross in 92. This is the manual. I am the TWD Triple OG. Jay Lapolo. Aid. What's going on? All right, so I was thinking, right? We've had this... Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
I just sat down. I just stopped working.
Yeah.
And sat down. So if I seem scatterbrained this episode,
Because you are.
it's because I am.
That's acceptable every now and again. Everything else is working correctly, so you can be off kilter right now and we'll be fine.
What I wanted to say is we got a nice chunk of motorcycle talk up front.
Right.
And then a couple of payday topics sprinkled in the middle.
Sure.
End off strong with our hip-hop, our hip-hop discussions that seem to always go over so well. Deuces Coco, what's happening, Playboy?
It's our strong point. It's our it's our area of deepest knowledge between the two of us. We can cover a lot of ground with it.
Correct. Jay, we are running the show. We are also worried about you. We are here
We can
for
do
your
both.
entertainment, my friend. So, it's a slight worry. It's on the list of worries. My new career is at the top.
Right.
La Pollo's, happiness is somewhere a few notches underneath.
Third or fourth.
So many times we talk about, I think we've had this conversation of like, I wouldn't change anything in my life
Right.
because it has mapped out all these stories that I can so freely share with the boys. It has made me into the righteous gentleman that sits before you today.
For all the philosophical differences we have, one thing that we agree on is the idea that whatever you did brought you to here, and because you want to be here, you have to be comfortable with whatever you did.
Right. However, as of recently, I'm trying to decide whether I just want to throw caution to the wind and vape ball show, or if I should put in a
You're
Zim.
gonna get us banned from another channel?
I mean, why not, dude? Apollo, La Pollo. It's La Pollo if you're in this chat room, player. All right, so my thought has been up till this point, I wouldn't change anything.
Right.
But as I've failed miserably job after job recently,
Okay.
been getting callback after callback, I started to question myself.
All right.
Not that I haven't always questioned why in the world I'm stuck in construction, but I know the answer. I have nothing else that makes me that same amount of money so that I can support a family of 4
Right.
and a dog.
And the dog.
And whatever hobby I seem to be into that year.
Right.
So I thought to myself, maybe if I could go back, I should have did it all completely different. Wildly different. Because I would be at such a wildly different spot in my life.
Yeah.
I would not be as cultured as I am.
Probably not.
But I'd have a whole lot less speed bumps in front of me, dude.
So
I would have, here's what I would have did,
Go ahead.
dude. I would have started out at secretary school.
Okay.
You know?
That was a
I
big thing
would've
when you
lo-
were a kid.
Yeah,
Sure.
dude, yeah.
You go to Lincoln Tech.
I would have went to secretary school to
Right.
get my words per minute typing up.
Yeah. On your big IBM Selectric.
Yeah, because off the rip, you can't do anything if you're
If you can't type.
pecking and poking one finger on each hand. So
Not
that's
these days.
17 years old. I'm taking secretary school.
Gotcha.
All right. After, I'm sure that's a really grueling 6-month process to get yourself to graduate from secretary school.
You can take the online Mavis Beacon courses. They'll get you up to speed.
Yeah, but I'm a more in-person kind
Sure,
of
you
learner.
need somebody
know what I mean?
standing
I
over your
need some
shoulder watching the
instruction
keys.
sometimes. So after I get out of secretary school, then what am I going to do? I think I'll
Be
probably,
a secretary?
but not just any secretary, a traveling secretary.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to see the world. Like
So you
now,
want to be like a contract secretary?
a traveling secretary.
Well, right. Like, so you get to Oklahoma, you find a job for 3 months, and you move on to your next job. Like, you're just in there to sort of a contract. You come in on your little short contract, you get done what you got to get done, and then you're on to the next.
Yeah, I'm
secretarial
like a
position.
headlining secretary. Like I come to town, I post on Craigslist and on back pages and on Eros and whatever
Sure,
other
sure.
gentleman sites there are. Because actually only on Eros, because what I'm aware of, Eros is like a high-end hooker website. Eros, Erols, Airsoul, something like that.
I've never heard of it, but if I had, I would know that they have a very strict verification process, and if you pick the verified people, you're very surely going to get what you were supposed to be getting.
Gotcha. So
So I've heard.
only high-end gentlemen deal with a site like Eros.
Right, and you can tell by the pricing, but right.
Right. So what I'm saying is like those guys, some of those guys, they probably just need a secretary to get them through the next few months. And if you got a top tier headlining secretary like Sean Cove coming to
Right.
town,
Yeah.
boom. I'll take
Get
him
your
for
name out
however
there,
long
yeah.
he's here. So I travel the country as a secretary and get a little bit of experience. And from there, I could probably pick like a solid lane that I want to run with.
Okay.
whether that be something in textiles. I figure maybe I'll run a textile factory.
Okay.
Something like that. And then I'd be paid and I wouldn't be here doing this.
So, if I'm to understand you correctly,
Uh-huh.
sometimes when you think about your life and how it went and how it could have gone,
Yeah, I think I should be a secretary instead.
you say to yourself, if I didn't want to have my family around and I didn't want to have my construction job, I think where I'd head to is construction secretary. Basically, right? You'd want to be a secretary at a warehouse is what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Textiles.
yeah, I think so. Or maybe
This is your opportunity to dream big, and I mean, you can dream big and dream realistically at the same time.
yeah, I'm all about the realism,
and
dog.
you've laid it down to secretary at a warehouse.
Or maybe I do something like create a whole new kind of position. You know what McDonald's is lacking?
Good food?
Well, yeah. Yeah, yes, food. Food in general. I don't know that you would call it food, but you know what they're really lacking? Tableside service.
Okay.
Like I'd come in and probably one of my secretarial customers is obviously a guy who owns a McDonald's.
Yeah, of course.
It's just the nature of the beast.
And they never own just one. It's usually like 4 or 5 in a region.
Right. So I get in there. I go, listen, Bo, you know what you're missing? Tableside. You need somebody to crack the black pepper over Scott Old soup. That was a Sean Cove bar.
Yeah, I can see that. Sure.
Like first,
We need
let's
fresh
start.
black pepper.
First we need Scott Old soup.
Right.
Secondarily, we need some pepper crackers.
Right.
I could play that position
Let me
because
ask
you work off of tips.
Let me ask you a question, and we're going to stay with you.
Yeah.
If you woke
I don't know where I'm going, so I don't know how you're going to stay with me. But
I'll walk with you.
please
either way.
do.
So if you woke up tomorrow and McDonald's threw Scott Old soup on the menu, how well do you think that would sell?
Well,
They're not replacing anything. They're just adding it as like you get that instead of fries.
Well, here's what I think. I think it would be a smash hit. Not with the Italian diaspora.
Right.
No guineas are going to buy
No.
Scott Old soup from
No.
Mickey D's. However, Medigons who are eating at McDonald's,
Right.
they don't know no better anyway.
Okay.
So they go, oh, they got soup at McDonald's? Because those are the kind of people who eat lunch at McDonald's,
Right.
I feel are also the kind of people who will buy soup
just open
from
whatever
a
you're winging
fast
at 'em.
food
Right.
restaurant. Like, you won't ever catch me eat soup from anywhere but my mom's kitchen or my wife's kitchen. It's not going to happen.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. The chicken noodle soup at Chick-fil-A is not bad at all.
No, I'm
It's
not gonna
bad
try
at
it.
all. I understand. I understand your position on it. But if I had to buy some fast food soup, that Chick-fil-A soup, since the chicken is their thing anyway, it's not bad.
One, not into chicken noodle.
Okay. Well, then
It's such a boring soup.
it is the most basic of soups.
Yeah.
For sure.
Two, I'm not that into Chick-fil-A.
All right, that's fine.
They got solid grilled chicken nuggets,
Right.
but everything else is not healthy.
No, it's fast food. We discussed this already.
No,
But
I know, but they're
Chick-fil-A does-
perpetrating as if they might be healthier.
But hear me out. They have
Although I did just eat Chipotle, so
they have soup and they have tableside service. So I think you're just working in you're trying to convince McDonald's to be like Chick-fil-A.
I mean, what better for McDonald's to be like?
No, absolutely.
Chick-fil-A's
If
at the top of the game right
Of
now.
course. They're the kings.
Yeah. So that's probably if I woke up tomorrow and could restart it all again, I'd be slinging Scott Old soup at McDonald's.
Okay.
I don't like the secretary idea anymore. I think I'm
Now
going
you're
full
making the
bore.
soup?
I'm going full bore Scott Old soup at McDonald's. And that's it, dude.
You're gonna be the next Ray Kroc with just your soup with your fucking spinach and pastina in it.
When I'm running on my last brain cell, this is the kind of show that you get.
I'm laughing.
All right? Yeah, I know.
The emoticons seem to indicate that everybody else is laughing.
As long as the boys are happy, then I'm
right.
doing my thing. So, but seriously, I'm at the point. I don't address stress.
Okay.
Right? Stress and like depression and unhappiness. I
Right.
go, nah.
So
I don't think I'm going to deal with that, and then I keep moving past it.
Is it water off a duck's back, or are you just smushing it down?
Usually water off a duck's back.
Okay.
However, the positions that I've been in over the past 2 weeks would indicate more that I'm smushing it down.
Okay.
And it is slowly bubbling
It's
below
getting to
the
be-
surface,
Container's getting to be full.
getting ready to take me out. because I just can't do it. I look around at mediocrity. To me, is fine for somebody else.
Right.
You know, like, should you choose to live a very run-of-the-mill, middle-class, middle-lane lifestyle, not even middle class. You could be lower class and live a middle-lane lifestyle. You
Sure.
could be higher class and live a middle-lane lifestyle. But the idea of mediocrity to me, of just that this is what I'm going to do forever, is wake up, swing a hammer until 7 o'clock at night, and then come home fried, eat some Chipotle or hope whatever my wife cooked is ready,
Right.
watch some YouTube, fall asleep, and then do it again
And
tomorrow.
Rinse and repeat.
The idea of that happening for the next 20 years gives me the thought, like, I'll just tie up a sheet and jump off the top tier. If I didn't have kids and a wife that I had to take care of,
Okay.
I would probably have taken the check off of that big floor job
Right.
and just went full renegade.
Just going straight to Florida.
Maybe,
Pickup truck and a little contractor magnet to put on the side of
maybe not even.
Narlands.
Maybe just a bike.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
just a KLX 300
Right.
and a keyboard
Well, I don't think.
and a pepper cracker, a pepper grinder.
Just 2 bundles of scuttle.
That's it, dude.
Dry scuttle.
Out here just trying to turn the world into Scotto soup
That's
eaters.
right.
You know? So I don't know, dude. I don't know how. Something's got to give.
Well, how much of it is over the last 2 weeks anyway? How much of it is the actual job site and what's happening on the job site, and how much of it is that you're not in control? Because this is a little different for you. It's a little outside your comfort
No,
zone.
I just started with BTC today.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay.
That's not a big deal. That's easier. That's great. I
Okay.
don't got to think about anything. You know what I mean? Like, great. Tell me what to do. I'll do it and catch my paycheck at the end of the week, and that's fine. And it's super easy.
Okay.
Guys who I think I didn't realize the benefit of being somebody's guy
Is you don't have the responsibility of being the guy.
until I had my own business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now having my own business, I'm like, the only upside of having your own business is you make more money and you have more free time. Now those are huge upsides,
Right.
but they're really the only two.
But you're also the guy. So if something goes sideways, it could be the end of you.
It's on me.
Whereas in most other cases, if something goes sideways, you could probably survive, and the guy takes the hit.
Exactly. So it's not the past 2 weeks has nothing to do with being out of control. I'm fine with. We've talked about this too. Like the illusion of control is just that, an illusion of control. You're not in
100%.
control of anything except maybe how you react to something.
How you react and your prep.
Yeah.
But your prep doesn't save you from anything.
It's the idea of mediocrity.
Scares you. It sounds more like not so much mediocrity as repetition.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you could live on your belly as long as you were doing something different every single day.
Yeah.
So it's not as much the mediocrity as it is just that, like you said, like get up, work, come home, eat, sleep, get up, work, come home, eat, sleep. It's too much. It's just you get wound up in it.
Yeah. I'm done with it.
I understand.
I'm taking my pepper grinder and I'm heading south.
You're heading south. They probably have never even seen a pepper grinder or a scuttle soup.
Yeah. The one thing that I have, right? I'm an addictive personality.
Right.
And the one thing that I have keeping my head above water this past few weeks is the fact that now I'm a biker boy.
Right.
You know?
You went all in. Yeah.
I went all in on the bike. Finally, I got a bike, right? And this message is for... There's a couple messages here. We've got an array of messages following this message.
Okay.
So stay tuned
Please.
for all the messages that are being showered upon you. Like
We'll learn something
praise.
tonight.
It took me until 37 years old to get a dirt bike.
Okay.
I started seriously wanting some kind of motorcycle, whether it was supermoto, a street bike, a adventure, whatever. It took me until I was 37 to get one.
Right. But
But-
you've been dreaming about it for how long?
I've been dreaming about it, like, where I thought
Realistically.
maybe it was a reality
Yeah.
for, like, the past 3 years.
Okay.
Right? Since about 34, 35, I started to be like, maybe I could actually
Pull this off.
do this,
Right.
right? But even before that, I can remember. So when I was a kid and I was locked up and writing songs,
Okay.
I remember a particular rap song where I said something about wheeling and popping the clutch on a KX.
Right.
Never, so moral of the story is if I rap about it, it comes true.
Yeah. You wrap it into reality.
Yeah, so I wrapped the KX into reality, but I've I've always had some sort of like interest in dirt bikes and motorcycles.
Okay.
I would say I regret waiting till 37.
Okay.
Now some of that, well, it's all through my own fault because I was a mess because it was my own fault. But I think that should I have like really put my nose to the grindstone at like 18 and was like,
In secretary school.
Yeah. If I went hard as a traveling secretary at 18, 19, I probably could have put it together so that I had a motorcycle.
Right.
Now, does that change the trajectory of my life? I don't know.
Probably. Because now you're traveling the world. Now you're loving life. Now you have a whole different outlook on everything. You're not even running from what you call mediocrity anymore. You got a plan, and that plan is working.
Yeah, that's true. So I would say this. If you have ever thought, even a little bit, of getting yourself a motorcycle of some sort, I keep saying motorcycle, even though dirt bike is my drug of choice.
Two-wheeler.
Yeah.
Motorized two-wheeler. We understand. You don't
If
have to be so specific.
If you've ever had the inkling, I push for everything that is in me to tell you, like, do it as soon as possible. Because now at 37, I'm looking at it like I might not have that many years left to ride. So, like,
Sure.
10 years from now, when I can't ride anymore, these other guys already have had 40 years in riding.
So I see 60, 70-year-old bikers out there.
It happens.
Why is 10 years going to be the end of
Well-
your life? The type of biking you're doing, is
Yeah,
that why?
I think that I could I could ride a chopper well into my 80s.
Okay, so
Because I'm going to be fit as hell, dude. I'm going to be
Yeah.
80 with a six-pack.
Well, yeah, by the time you retire, that's all you're going to have left to do is work out and ride your bike.
Exactly. I don't know if I'm ever going to retire, to be honest with you. It doesn't feel like it. But,
You can retire anytime you want.
yeah, that's true. And I just might take you up on that offer. But I think dirt bike riding in the dirt probably has a good 10-year run if I'm really lucky.
And then it's just rattling your bones around too much.
It's just too much.
Okay.
It's already a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm 37. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken, but
What's your recovery rate? Like if you go out on a Sunday and spend a good 6 hours riding or whatever a gas tank lasts you, how many days is it before you could realistically just hop back on the bike and go riding again?
I'll do it the next day if I could.
No, not that if you could, just because of the time.
Physically, I
yeah.
could. Physically, I could get
your
on a
peak-
bike.
At your peak performance?
No, I'm already peak performance. I don't know if you've met me, cuz I am Mr. Steal your girl's weights and lift them up in the gym.
You know what I'm saying.
No, I do. And I tomorrow I could go ride. It's
Okay.
not about there's a little bit of soreness afterwards.
Right.
But not like
It's
I'm
not gonna
used to
affect you.
I'm used to the sore. I like
the
the
gym,
sore.
yeah.
Yeah, I bask in being sore.
You thrive on it.
Muscle soreness to me is like that's a feeling of
That's
success.
the electricity working through you.
Yeah, it feels good when I'm sore the next day. So if I was wildly sore, I think I would still ride. I'm not getting wildly sore because I think I'm in pretty good shape and I'm doing construction day in and day out. So like my body is built.
You're stretching.
My body is a tool.
Right.
I'm a tool, bro.
Yeah, well, I know.
You know?
That's why the show works.
I'm nothing but a friggin' tool. And so that being the case, a tool works every time.
Okay.
You know? Until it doesn't.
Till it breaks.
When it's broke, it's done.
Right.
But until it breaks, dude, every time you pick it up, the tool could work. But I do notice I'm a little bit more fragile, I think, like skeletally, than I would like to be.
How do you mean?
Well, okay, so this touches on a couple of topics.
Okay.
These are all things that we want to tell you. If you are somebody who comes across this video and you're on your way to purchase a dirt bike, mainly a dirt bike, but motorcycle in general, these are things that you need to just be aware that they exist.
These are the things that I could sit behind my computer screen all day long and research a bike and how it works and what I can do. But there's these little things that you don't know until you actually own the vehicle and are riding around in it. And now you've come to an understanding of some of these things.
Or you just don't believe
That what they say
because
is
these
true.
are all these are all things that I heard
Right.
amongst my research, but I didn't necessarily like.
It's like when
I'm just like, yeah, for you.
when all the other guys standing around you when you get engaged tell you really shouldn't do this. And you're like, you guys are all just joking around. It's funny.
No, you should get engaged. I love my wife. I want attention. Give me it, man. You pay attention to every comment and stop your story mid-sentence any other time. Let's spice it up. I'm going to say what everyone else is thinking all the time. Say it.
We didn't ban anybody.
We banned somebody?
he asked.
I'm missing some, I must be missing comments there.
No, I see he keeps correcting you on how you pronounce his last name, but you addressed that already.
Yeah.
You told him he's going to be Lapoyo as long as he's logged in here.
Oh, you got 300 subs because you get your feelings hurt and try to clown when anyone who you don't dick ride y'all tries to comment. I'm here to spice it up for you.
I didn't. Oh, maybe I gotta let me switch over to new chat from
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
I'm not even sure.
I swear I've addressed every comment he's gotten here. He asked if I look like I'm 34. He kept explaining to you how to pronounce his last name. And then he said you got 300. Yeah, you got 300 subs because you get your feelings hurt.
I'm not even sure what that sentence means, to be honest. Something about my feelings are not hurt at all. My feelings don't really ever get hurt. And I'm sorry. I'll tell you this. I'll say this, and then we will continue on.
Okay. We're not ever going to ban anybody.
No. Jay, if I said something that bothered you, I apologize. I absolutely did not mean it, buddy. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure who I'm dick riding and what that's about, but
There's 90.
yeah, 90's in the building. That bike is a road bike. It's slow as hell. You should buy a dedicated motocross. Check out the Honda CR. Listen, 90. Here is part of what's in my list of things to buy,
Coming
right?
right for your throat.
Is you try and ride your buddy's dirt bikes, right? Because I didn't know the difference between a KLX 300 and a KDX 250
Okay.
until last week. I hopped on CRF Mark's KDX 250. A KDX 250 is an enduro bike, but it's basically a tuned down motocross bike.
Okay.
The difference is unreal, cuz I'm wasting my time with a KLX 300. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good. Okay, the KLX 300, I listened to everybody tell me, like, it's a good beginner bike.
Okay.
You want to be able to start by driving a slow bike fast, and you can learn everything on a 250 4-stroke
Right.
or a 300 or some kind of slower bike, a trail bike or a 400 Ninja, something that's not, power packed, right? Now, for me, I know that I'm a guy who learns quick.
Okay.
Right? You put a situation in front of me and I will learn it quick. I, however, took the advice of so many people on YouTube who don't know me personally and went, all right, I'm going to buy like a beginner bike and learn myself to ride.
Yeah, see what's what.
It's a wildly dumb move on my part. Because now, a month in, I'm like, I should have bought a 2-stroke. One of the things that scared me away from a 2-stroke was the idea of the maintenance.
Okay.
Right? Like, and it depends on what kind of 2-stroke you get or what kind of bike you get. But, like, these dedicated motocross bikes, their maintenance is done in hourly intervals.
Okay.
And to me, I'm like, I don't want to be doing maintenance every 10 hours or 20, whatever. I want to ride a bike and think about an oil change 1,500 miles from now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not that big of a deal, right? You ride it for your 8 hours and then you put it in the back and let the oil drain. And when you get up the next morning, fill it up and go.
But I forgot. I didn't. Maybe it's not.
Okay.
But there's like a lot of there was a lot of things that made me shy away from the maintenance of a motocross bike. Right? And one of them was the maintenance. Finding out what I did, which is that I like the maintenance.
Okay.
Right? I like working on a bike. In conjunction with riding a two-stroke.
Right, now you've checked off 2 boxes
I'm like,
that you were
damn,
concerned
dude,
about.
I really messed up. So the idea is this, that like, if you have a certain bike in mind that you want to go buy, that's fine. But if you haven't rode anything, or you've only rode one bike, and you say like, oh, I rode one, I know what a KLX is, I like it, it's fun, you gotta figure out a way to get on another bike or another 2 bikes or another couple of different kinds of bikes, because you're just not gonna, you might not be happy with what you think you're gonna be happy with.
But can't that be true regardless? So you buy the 250 two-stroke, and then, you get as competent as you've been, and then you find out that the maintenance isn't as difficult as it is.
Right.
And now you need a two-stroke 400. Right? Like, there's no end game to.
Well, you don't get too much more than a 500 two-stroke,
okay,
right?
so
That's the top of the chart.
So
what we're saying is, if you've never rode a bike before, you've got to start out on a CR 500
right.
two-stroke, because there's not another bike better.
Just keep it in first gear for a while.
Yeah. What's the Polo talking about?
He's coming at both of us for some reason.
He's having a rough day. Look, Jay, I don't know, buddy. I'm not gonna fight back and forth with you in the live chat. If you feel like we're being dickheads, then you're welcome to the door. If we're being dickheads to you, I told you it's no. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, Bo.
No.
Let's see what else. Oh, there's this idea of like the brotherhood of biking.
Right.
Right? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Sure. Everybody who has a bike is friends with each other or whatever.
Yeah.
Keep the Kawasaki for cruising around the streets and light trail. It's good for cruising and exploring. Yeah, that's probably the idea for off-road. I'm going to work my way towards a two-stroke night. There's a little bit of camaraderie in BMX.
Okay.
However, I think for the most part, because BMX is at least from, what I see, is like it's a younger man's game.
It's a younger man's game, and I think, especially when it comes to amateur, it's more exhibitionist, right? Like when you're riding BMX, especially when you're, doing trick BMX and stuff, I know you're not showing off, but you want other people to see what you're doing.
Yeah, you want some high fives.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're doing your dirt bike thing, you could get out on trail, put your helmet on, and nobody else.
It
has
doesn't
to be
matter
around
who
for you
sees
to
you.
Fire through and do what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm not saying that there's not camaraderie in BMX, because like I'm friends with Aid just because he rides BMX, right? And we can be cool and talk BMX, and he comes through to the show and kicks it. And if I see him, I shake his hand and we hang out and everything is phenomenal. However, I think that those type of guys that I meet and those kind of relationships were fewer and further between in BMX. It's a younger man's sport, and I think a lot of the times when you're in a BMX related event or some kind of situation,
Okay.
it's always felt a lot more standoffish to me. Like everybody wants to be cool to the point where you're so cool that we're not even going to talk to each other.
Right.
And that's whatever. However, if a guy everywhere that I've pulled up on my fucking little beginner 300, guys who are riding real bikes, guys who are riding cruisers, guys who got 690 adventure bikes are all like welcoming and like, nah, dude, that's like, your bike's sick, dude. That's a great bike to start off with. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's brand new. It's this, that, and the third. Like, okay, yeah. And then we start talking, and I've gotten a bit of information, one which way or the other, from almost all of them.
a little bit of wisdom.
There's a lot of that, right?
Right.
The camaraderie. We told the story about the guys who stopped. Now, he might have had ulterior motives, old Jersey Ginger, but he still stopped and spent an hour and a half trying to help Screw fix his bike, right? Just because he's a guy riding a bike. Stop even reading it at this point.
That's my job. You don't have to read it.
Nah, I'm not going to keep going back to it. So the camaraderie is there. To the point where my neighbor who called the cops on me,
Okay.
who I refused to talk to, I'm sure he's chomping at the bit, wanting to talk to me about the new bike. Right, because we both ride.
Right next door with the tin shed behind him?
Yeah, that dickhead.
Okay.
Dickhead. So I have two buddies now, right, who I met via Screw and riding,
Okay.
who the one, Jake, I rode with him once, and then he called me out of the blue. Got my number from somebody else to call me and say, yo, what's up? Now, if I'm thinking something bike-wise, these guys both have said, like, nah, text me whatever, dude.
Right.
Because I had said, like, oh, I was going to text you to show you X, Y, and Z, but I didn't want to fucking bug you or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, absolutely not, dude. Text me whatever, link me with whatever. Because it's guys who ride have such a love for riding that it's like,
share it.
Yeah, exactly. When they have somebody they can talk bikes with, it's,
Right.
You know what I mean? They're all over it. And I haven't really seen that in any other hobbies that I've been into. BMX a little bit, but not in the same fashion that it is with motorcycles.
Do you think the heightened possibility of death has anything to do with it? Like, just compared to BMX?
No, because nobody is thinking that they're going to die.
You never think about it, but obviously it's a consideration when you put on a whole bodysuit and a helmet and all that stuff. You've at least considered that it's a possibility.
No.
No, you just wear the helmet because you got a sporty-looking helmet with a camera in it?
I wear the helmet because you could fall off your bike.
And?
Not because I don't think of the dying part.
Well,
I never once went through, like, let me get on this thing that's probably going to kill me.
yes, you have. You've at least considered that once.
No, I have considered the thought of getting hurt,
Okay.
but it's never. I promise you, it never was like, oh, I could die.
Have you ever thought about getting hurt so bad that
So
you die?
now, when I die this upcoming week, you're gonna feel real bad about jinxing me, dickhead.
But then I'll get the other seat.
Yeah, but you'll have nobody to talk to. What are you gonna talk to? You're gonna hop back and forth from seat to seat, talk to yourself.
I'll do it as a 2-camera shoot.
While you bring a polo hat and a payday hat and just switch
That's
the
how you know
hat
which
and which
person I
fucking
am, yeah.
seat you're in.
I'll have the new guy sit in this seat.
The idea of dying brings me to the next point,
Okay.
which most YouTube channels and blogs and motorcycle associated media will say, wear the gear, get the gear.
Right.
Buy a bike, buy the gear. Buy the gear first, then buy the bike.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was kind of like, yeah, the gear's important, but I'm like, let me get the bike, and then I'll figure out what gear I need, right? Because I don't really need, I know I need a helmet.
Right.
Maybe I get like a riding jacket or something like that. And it turns out that I need, for me, now if you're super experienced, obviously you may not need what I need, but I need a lot of the gear.
Full body armor.
I need most of the gear.
Right.
Right? So now, after riding a couple times, having a couple of crashes, feeling what it's like to try and put a foot down in the dirt with a regular boot on and not have that dirt bike boot that has all that ankle support in it.
Right.
Now, I'm going back and buying boots, knee pads, Under Armour, a chest protector, like pretty much almost full gear I'm in.
Right.
Because I now see why it's necessary, right? The other thing is, this is another point, right? I originally thought that my riding was going to be mostly street, right? part of the reason that I got the 300 because I'm like, I'm going to be doing mostly street. I'm going to get the Supermoto version of the 300, ride mostly street, and then I'll put some like tires that got some grip on it in case I want to ride a trail or two or cut through a field or something like that.
So if you're going into it and you're thinking mostly street, why aren't you buying a street bike?
Because I want the option.
You want the option.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted the concept of there's Supermoto and Dual Sport. They're they're very much the same thing. There's a couple of key differences. The size of the wheels that you're on. Dual Sport, you're going to get a 21-inch wheel in the front and an 18-inch wheel in the back, or something close to that with knobby tires on it.
Okay.
Or if not knobby, almost knobby. With a Supermoto, you're going to get slicks and 17s on the front, 17s on the back. Supermoto does both, but leans street.
Okay.
Dual Sport does both, but leans dirt.
Leans dirt.
Now, I thought the Supermoto tires look cooler. The Supermotos look pretty friggin' cool, right?
Okay.
Way cooler than a Dual Sport bike, because Dual Sport bikes are kind of dorky.
Like a step above a moped.
Nah, they're more than a step above a moped, but yeah. But I didn't realize that I was going to be wanting to ride more dirt and just riding the street to get to the dirt. I probably, in hindsight, would have still, if I was still going to get the KLX, I would have went the Dual Sport route. Because what nobody really told me was how much better, and this is just my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. But how much better riding dirt is than riding street. You got so many things going for you in the dirt.
I would think, like, and I know very little about it all, but I would think sizing you up that the dirt would be the more logical choice for you because you're a get out there and explore and don't follow the typical path and find things that no one else has seen before. Like that.
Yeah, but
that's all dirt. You can't do that on the street.
Well, not the things that people haven't seen before, but you still get the alley cat. I'm out riding and taking it here and taking it there and going where I want.
Path wherever you're taking it here and there is still where you're being told that you can go and where you can't go.
Yeah, I mean, even when I'm in the dirt, I'm still on trails. I'm not hitting anywhere that people haven't gone before.
You're not prepared for wilderness yet?
I'm not going anywhere nobody has brought a bike before, you know? But I really thought, because I'm a street hooligan. BMX, I ride BMX street. I don't ride dirt. I don't ride skate parks. I go ride in the street. So, like, all these things told me, oh, you get the Supermoto because you lean towards the street, right? And now, after, a month and a half of riding, I'm really a dirt kid.
Right. Turns
out I'm a dirt kid, and now I'm stuck with, if I want to be official in the dirt, I got to change my wheels. Yeah, I got to do a lot of work to change it, and I probably will. Or I'll just keep riding CRF Marks 2-stroke in the dirt.
Is there any window of opportunity to sell this bike for enough money that you can start over again?
Can I start over again?
In other words, to sell this bike for enough to pay it off and then get yourself your next bike. Okay.
No. I'm working on paying it off quick as I can so that at least I can sell it for whatever I can get it for.
And then use that.
Or maybe in the meantime, I just go pick up a $2,500 2-stroke, 1998 2-stroke.
Pick something off the marketplace.
Just to run with it. Because the difference, here's the thing. I'm a beginner rider. Fully beginner. However, I hopped on the 2-stroke KDX, and I had that bitch sideways because it's the proper tool for the job, and I'm a guy who's athletic. I have balance from riding BMX bikes. Like, I have strength from being in the gym. I have enough knowledge of how the bike works from riding mine that as soon as I got on the proper tool, I felt like freaking Jeremy McGrath out there.
Sure.
I'm sideways cutting around a corner. I can't do that, right? 90 says those tires are completely different. Yeah, no, I don't. My tires I bought because I thought they're rated 50-50. They're rated, hey, 50% street, 50% dirt. But that's like, it doesn't really work that way. You either get street tires or you get dirt tires. The hybrid idea, from what I have seen, is not. It just doesn't work.
So you need something like
Get that crap off the. Get that bullshit out of here. 90. He's trying to show me an Apollo 250cc
because it's $1,500.
That's
the only reason.
Here, let me tell. That's a 4-stroke.
Okay.
So if you're getting a 4-stroke,
I put in 2-stroke dirt bike, and that's what came up. So.
If you want 2-stroke and 4-stroke are two different
engine configurations.
But for some reason, from my understanding, and 90 seems to be pretty well versed, so maybe he can drop a little bit of light on this if anybody wants to read it in the chat, is that 2-stroke and 4-stroke is the configuration of how many movements the piston does.
How many? Well, yeah, basically, yeah. The 2-stroke is more high strung, and the 4-stroke is designed to be a little bit more efficient, but you're going to lose torque and power off of it.
Right. Well, Dan, what was I saying? Oh, that Apollo?
The Apollo, yeah.
The Apollo is a Chinese bike, a Chinese 4-stroke 250.
Okay.
So a 250 4-stroke is not.
That's not. You're not moving anywhere. Yeah, that's lateral.
That's like it's very. It's even less than my 300.
Okay.
Right? Like thank God I have my 300 and not an Apollo DB7 or whatever their bikes are.
You would have snapped it in half?
Probably. And it's built with all cheap Chinese parts. Like that thing, you can't upgrade it really. It's going to fall apart.
Okay.
You want a 2-stroke 250. A 2-stroke 250 is leaps and bounds more powerful than a 4-stroke 250.
Gotcha.
Making sense?
Yep.
I didn't understand any of this until I started getting into riding with Mark and Jake, who been riding dirt for 20 years. Let's see what else. Oh, here's another one to know before you buy a bike. You're going to need a few days by yourself riding. Like, plan on, whether it's dirt or street or highway or a cruiser or a dirt bike or a supermoto, whatever kind of bike you buy.
Right.
If this is your first bike, just know that at first, 125 2-stroke for about 2 years. Yeah, I've even thought of that, buying a 125 2-stroke 90. If I can get one for the right price. I'm not, right now, my bank account, the way it's set up.
I got a savings account and a checking account.
Yeah, I mean, and neither of them have money for a new bike. So, you're going to wind up spending time by yourself, right?
Okay.
Because it's fun, it's great riding with guys, but you're going to feel like a real dickhead.
You don't want to be the anchor.
When you're the guy who keeps getting stuck at a red light because you haven't got the full clutch control down yet.
Right.
Or when you realize you're holding everybody back on your dirt ride because you just don't know how to ride yet. So just know that you need to plan on a lot of days by yourself.
Okay.
So that you can offer something to the party when you show up.
Gotcha.
The kid, he doesn't get it. Now, there's a real bike called an Apollo, Jay. Jay, now I'm going to do it to you. Because I was going to leave you alone, right? Because I have no sauce with you. But if you think that I care enough about whatever you're saying in the past 7 comments that I haven't read to start making fun of you, you need to put the pipe down, Daddy, because you're wildin'. Nobody here, not me, not Pay, and I'm pretty sure none of these guys who are sitting in the chat have any interest in watching you make an asshole out of yourself in the comments. Now cut it out. If you don't like what's happening, scram. Jones, Apollo, they make a bunch.
Right.
And I even thought about buying an Apollo, but it's all just Chinese bullshit. Yeah. Okay. It's all Chinese bullshit.
Is it cheap enough? I would never shop at Harbor Freight. But if it's cheap enough and I need to do just a job for a little bit, I might go there and pick up a tool that would normally be 3 times as much if I bought the Milwaukee. Are they cheap enough that knowing that it's going to break in a month and a half, it's still worth it to just beat it up until then? Or is the price difference
Here's
not
the thing.
that great?
I don't think. I would tell you, and I don't know. I'm by no means an expert in this field.
No one thinks you are.
I would tell you, if you only had the $2,000 to buy an Apollo DB7, right? That's their 250 dual sport bike.
Okay.
If that's all you have and you're a beginner rider, I think it depends on the person,
Okay.
right? Because a guy like, for me, I'd be pissed off very quickly.
Because you think it would fall apart pretty quick?
I think it would fall apart. I think it just doesn't have the juice. I
Okay.
think that if your wife wants to ride and she's just going to be like
Every
driving Miss Daisy,
Right.
then maybe that's fine for her. I also think that if you are going to spend the money for a 250 Apollo,
Right.
then you're probably better off waiting another couple of months, get up $3,000, and buy something used, a used Kawasaki, a used Yamaha, a used Honda, something like that.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they have a time and a place.
Let me put that on my list.
Maybe you're an 18-year-old kid fresh out of high school and you want to ride.
Apollo bike. Got it.
So those are the things that I've found to know before you get yourself into riding.
But your big takeaway from this, above all else, is if you're considering this, buy a bigger bike. Whatever it is you think you need to be
Buy
at,
the biggest
go
bike.
2x over.
Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you think that you feel comfortable starting out on a 125
Right.
Apollo,
Buy a 500.
go ahead, get out there, get yourself a Hayabusa.
Oh.
Just buy a KX 125, CR 125, 2004, thereabouts. Yeah, that's what 90 said. 90's saying buy an older
Yeah.
125.
Buy something used, get your feet under you, but it's still a powerful bike, and then you're not as upset when you keep laying it down at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a time and a place. And if the option is that you buy the DB7 or you don't get out and ride, then by all means, you'll be happier with the DB7
something than
you
nothing.
will be with nothing.
Right.
You're going to have a good time. You'll have a good time with a DB7. You'll have a good time with the 125 Chinese dirt bike.
Right.
They're all fun. These are toys. These are like
Yeah.
the top tier of toys.
Right.
So they're made for you to have fun. You know, some are just more fun than others. And if you wind up riding with guys who have real bikes, you're going to be really annoyed with it very quickly.
How much is holding you back?
But yeah, and I don't think buying a bigger bike is for everybody in all reality.
Okay.
I think that you should buy what you feel comfortable with. You want to get into stripping them down yourself. You absolutely. And that's one of the other things that I said. I don't know if it came through, but like, I didn't realize that I was going to be into
How much more fun the maintenance is because
being a bike mechanic. They're super easy to work on,
Yeah.
which I've figured out very recently. So, that's that.
Okay. So we got our bullet points for if you're thinking about buying a bike out there, which clearly most of the people in the chat who are thinking about buying a bike already have several bikes. These are some pointers for the person. You can't find these things out just searching on the internet. These aren't the main. This is the comfort ride. This is the blah blah blah. This is the more important subtext that you need to know going into the bike showroom.
You can find it. I think your best route to go about buying a bike is to
Rent a bike.
Yeah, but it's not that easy to do that.
No.
Like, I don't have a motorcycle license. Nobody's
Okay.
going to rent a bike to me. I couldn't have went and rented a bunch of bikes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nor am I ever going to get a motorcycle license.
Right. Yeah. Because you're a badass.
Renegade, dude.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole thing.
It's the main thing.
Maybe you got a cousin who's been riding for years. Maybe, the kid down the street is 26 years old and he's been riding forever. Find somebody who's riding and say, look, let's talk to him, right? Because these are things that I found out really from being around guys who ride bikes.
Right.
You can find out a bunch on the internet. You can find out a whole lot for sure. But when it comes, you can't really ask the internet, and you can't have a conversation with the internet and find out the things that are going through your head at that moment. It's just not going to work. What do you got? What do you got, topic wise? Bring something to me, sir.
It's not much. I was watching whatever the hell I was watching today, and I saw this news article, and I can't verify that it's true, but that the main topic is not the thing I want to discuss anyway. So this guy is working luggage at the airport, and he gets stuck in the luggage bay of an airplane.
Nice.
And the airplane takes off with him in the luggage bay. But he's got a cell phone on him. So he calls 911 because, like, what are you going to do? You're going to call United? And can you patch me through to the pilot, please?
Solid place to call.
Right. So he calls 911.
AIDS starting shit in the comments.
And he's trying to explain, I'm stuck in the compartment. Can you please, call the pilot, tell him to turn around, do something for me, help me out. And the dispatch at 911 is kind of like writing him off.
Right.
And the comments...
They thought he was like crank calling.
Well, the comments are dragging this lady, the dispatch lady,
right,
to death. Like, she's the worst person in the history of the world. And I'm just trying to consider, like, if you were the dispatch person and somebody came in and said, I'm stuck in the cargo I'm stuck in the cargo hull of a flying airplane. Can you please call the pilot and tell him to turn the plane around and land it? There's no way you could ever take that seriously, right?
Here's the problem. I think you have to take
everything
I
seriously,
think as a 911 operator, everything that comes in, no matter how ridiculous it is, the old lady who calls to tell you her cat is stuck in the closet,
right?
You have to take that.
Yeah.
Now, you maybe you look at a situation like that and go, okay, ma'am, stay calm. And then when you get on the other line to dispatch a cop, you go, hey, when you got the time,
right?
This is what's going on. If you're not busy with something else, maybe go see this lady.
I can't imagine a crazier call to get, and I can't imagine, like, there's no that didn't happen before. Like, you never reviewed that in class. Like, all right, if someone calls from the hull of a plane, here's what you do.
Yeah, well, no. So being a 911 operator, you can't go across the whole spectrum of what you're going to get.
Yeah, you just
God knows what's going to happen. But yeah, I think you have to take everything seriously. And she does kind of suck for that.
Okay.
But also, are you going to die being in the hull of an airplane? Or are you just going to be kind of cold and uncomfortable?
I think there's a potential to freeze to death, and there's a potential to suffocate, because I don't believe that the cargo hull gets pressurization.
Right.
So it's possible to suffocate, and I think it's possible to freeze to death.
Yeah. I think also you have to recognize, like, the fear in this guy's voice.
Yeah, he's clearly terrified when he's calling in. So either he's the greatest actor ever, or this guy is really in, like, this amazing one-off situation that you never want to find yourself in.
I say she deserves to get dragged.
Okay.
Get her out of here.
Put the stamp on it.
Get her out of here.
She gets what she gets.
I'm looking to see if there's anything else on my phone here. Give me we're close to an hour. I think that we did right by going with the 8:30 start.
Yeah, I wanted to give you time to eat.
Because once we turned on, the guys were all kind of hanging away. So plan on 8:30 next week, boys.
Did you want to eat your frittata?
No, I can't eat a cold frittata.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's low class. That's fine.
No. That's full class, Bo. I like guys who eat. You know what skeeves me worse? I had a buddy who loved to eat cold eggplant parm.
That I couldn't do.
No.
Except for pizza, once you add the tomato sauce, it's got to be warmed up. I
could maybe do a cold chicken parm, but I don't even really want that.
No.
Or a cold meatball. Get it out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, cold food in general. Maybe I'm bougie, bro.
You definitely.
Maybe it's all those years.
You're bougie in your country.
All those years doing time, dude. I've just become bougie. I will not eat. Nor I'm not going to eat a cold Chi-Chi. How about that? Microwave the goddamn hookup. I'm not having sex with a cold Fifi either.
All right. Well, I mean, that's good. That's basically you're avoiding necrophilia.
Warm up the Vaseline first.
Nice.
Cold. I can't do it. I'm gonna tell you what though about that frittata.
Yeah.
I'm going to tear that thing up after my workout before the sun comes up tomorrow.
There's two in there, so you can ration them out how you need.
That is it's perfect for post-workout if you got to eat before the sun comes up. Right? Because you just 30 seconds in the microwave, now you got a full omelet basically.
It's mostly heavy protein and eggs. Yeah, there's a little bit of flour in it, but it's like not even worth considering.
Yeah. All right, what do you got in the box? Let's go to a couple in the box and we'll call it a day.
All right, I'm trying to find a couple that are worthwhile. We'll start with this one. This is just a off-kilter one. It's not really necessarily even music related. You get to have a celebrity roast. You're the one getting roasted. You're familiar with the celebrity roast?
Yes.
Who's your host? Snoop, Jadakiss, Cardi B, or Tyler, the Creator?
I think that probably Tyler, the Creator, would be the funniest.
You think so?
I think so. I used to hate Tyler, the Creator, and Odd Future.
Okay.
Not because I hated their music, but because they were snot-nosed, obnoxious kids.
Okay.
Like,
so,
I hated them via what I saw from them in interviews.
okay.
Like, they did an interview with Rosenberg,
Right.
and I was just watching them be dicks just for the sake of being dicks.
Okay. This is good. This is gonna reminds me of another topic I wanted to discuss.
Right. And I'm like, you guys are so whack. But then I also remembered at the time they were like 15.
Right. They were
So they were acting appropriately as you would expect some rich 15-year-olds to act, right?
Okay.
Like nobody could tell them nothing.
Right.
And everything anybody else did was corny.
Right.
But I think as Tyler, the Creator, has grown up, because he's probably pushing 30 now, you know?
He might be a little older than that, yeah.
He might be early 30s, late 20s, something like that. But as he's grown up and matured, I've kind of liked the character that he has become.
He sort of separated himself out from the whole Odd Future.
Right.
Like everybody who was in Odd Future when they were huge, most of them have fallen to the wayside for one reason or another. It's him and Frank
and Earl.
And Earl are the only ones that have really separated themselves.
And nobody, I don't really think any of them are as big as Tyler. Frank Ocean's pretty big, but he's in a different lane.
He is. But I think if they both...
He's an R&B guy.
Yeah, I think if they both dropped an album the same day, Frank's going to outsell him easy. But yeah, as far as rap goes, no, he's not a rapper. No, I agree with that.
So I think that he would be probably the funniest, being true to himself, using his own material. He would probably be the funniest.
Okay.
Snoop would be... I mean, Snoop is like the epitome of a host.
Right.
Like, I think he would do a great job.
Okay.
But you would hear the jokes he's telling. You'd be like, oh, somebody wrote those and he is memorizing it.
You see them coming a mile away. You see the punchlines coming a mile
away. Yeah. I don't think that, humor-wise, I don't think Snoop is really going to knock it out the park.
Okay.
Cardi B would be fun.
Right.
And funny, but not the same kind. She would be ratchet humor.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm more of a...
I mean, Snoop's going to be mostly weed humor. They're going to have their lanes.
I'm into more of a thinking man's humor.
Oh, well, that is true.
I'm more of a Larry David kind of guy.
I hadn't considered
than a Cardi B kind of gal.
You do tell me how much you like Curb, so yeah. I understand. So we're not even considering Jadakiss.
I'm a very cerebral...
Absolutely.
...kind of guy. I mean, Jada would be cool just to... I think Jada would be cool... because he would take my relatively mild career in the streets and make sure I knew that I wasn't shit. You know what I mean?
I think of the four of them, I think Jada would be the best at adapting to whatever's happening, about on the fly changing the joke or whatever it might be because of whatever the circumstance that's happening in the second.
Yeah.
I think his brain is quicker like that. I think overall, I think Snoop's the better host. I think you're right. I think Snoop's the better host. I do like Tyler, and I did always like Tyler, but when they had like their TV show on Adult Swim and all that stuff, I didn't like it. And I still am not sure if it's just like old man disease or whatever, but like being mean just for the sake of being mean never translates to funny for me.
Nah.
Right?
Nah.
Like not like I've seen I don't know, it wasn't them, but like a guy will hide behind around a corner with a clown mask and an axe on. And then somebody will walk by and he'll jump out and just scare the piss out of him. Sometimes the people's reaction to it is funny, but like that's not a funny premise. You're gonna have somebody have a heart attack and die off of something that it's not that great. And the kids these days, they do a lot of that, like just being mean, and then
if
your friends are
snatching cell phones in the hood prank, and you just like run up and take somebody's shit and run away, like, oh, it's a prank, like, no, dickhead, you're being a dickhead.
So there was that kid in Virginia over the weekend who's like one of those prank guys, like he's got a prank channel, but his pranks are all just like rude shit.
Yeah,
like he goes into the supermarket and dumps your card over and runs away, and that's hilarious.
Right.
He got shot. He was pranking somebody and they shot him.
Well,
and I know
play stupid games.
I know I'm supposed to be of the position that like he didn't deserve to get shot, but I think maybe he did.
But I think I'm okay with that.
I'm trying my best to feel bad for him, but I'm like, this guy is constantly being a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and he's constantly putting himself in confrontational situations.
Yeah,
right. He got himself a confrontation.
Yeah. No, and that's good.
That's what I think.
Did he die?
No, I think he's alive.
All right, so good, because you know what? Now, hopefully, these other thousands of kids who think shit like that is funny,
maybe they'll think twice.
And they go, oh, maybe let me try and be funny in a way that's not going to get me shot.
Right.
So I think it's great that he got shot. Fantastic, kid. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
I don't want to agree with that, but 100%, that's the only emotion I can get out of
it. How
it.
old is the kid?
He's in his 20s.
Yeah, absolutely. If he was 16, 15, maybe
feel a little different.
Maybe I feel a little different, but if you're over like 21,
right.
If you're over like 19 doing that shit, if you're over 18,
once you can get
if you're over
vote, you shouldn't be doing that anymore.
If you're 14 or older, you deserve to get shot.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Give me another one. We'll call it.
You got the magic wand. You can go to the gravesite, wave it over whomever you like. They come back to life. They're back in the game immediately. Is it Guru, Nipsey Hussle, Nate Dogg, or Big Pun?
Oh, it's Big Pun.
It's Big Pun.
Nate Dogg is missed. Guru, Nipsey, Nate Dogg, Big Pun. Nate Dogg is missed because he made such classic hooks.
He was right. He touched everybody's.
He was
albums.
involved in such classic songs.
Right.
And I think that he was a guy who was around for so long that he would have been a guy who just continued to be around forever.
Yeah.
You'd be getting Nate Dogg hooks until he was walking in with a cane to the booth.
Even then, the cane wouldn't stop him. That'd just be his pimp cane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not doing, like, you dropped out of the game because you felt like you're no longer comfortable playing in a young man's sport. But singing the hook is not, I mean, traditionally you're getting somebody from 20 years ago to sample and sing the hook anyway.
Sing it anyway, right. Now, you're not going to like this.
Okay.
But Guru, I could take him or leave him. I think that the reason Gang Starr's success is built off the back of Premier.
I'm not mad at that. I don't think that that's a totally off base position to take. I think when Premier, between Manifest and Daily Operation, when Premier decided to like hone his signature sound, I think that's why we know what Gang Starr is. There's no question. I think Guru is a very talented poet. He's monotone.
Yeah.
He doesn't really span, all the different arenas of topic and things like that. He stays with what he stays with.
Yeah.
I think he's very good, but I completely agree. Same with Pete Rock and CL Smooth. If the Pete Rock part of that equation's not there, you're not getting a CL Smooth album that you give one flying fuck about.
Yeah.
At least Guru has Jazzmatazz that people paid attention to, and it was decent, but if you really listen to it, most of it is very Premier adjacent. Like the jazz players that he brought in are kind of doing like Premier but live. Not so much chops, but it's all there. So I don't hate that position.
I like Guru.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I think on this list
of these four, he's the least valuable.
Yeah, he might be the least valuable. I think so. Nipsey. I think Nipsey gets. I like Nipsey.
Right.
And I think Nipsey was saying some G shit.
Yeah.
But I also think that in the wake of his untimely demise, he's been turned into a cult hero
I think so.
Where before that, like I was listening to Nipsey
Yeah.
back in 03 on mixtapes, and I liked Nipsey back in 03 on mixtapes. It's this always happens, and it kind of disgusts me. It happens with not only rappers, but it just happens in general. When somebody dies, people want to attach themselves to that death.
Yeah.
Whether it's because they want a little bit of empathy,
Right.
They're looking
And
for
the
that?
popularity.
or if they attach themselves to Nipsey to like kind of make themselves look like they were more into I just did it myself like a dickhead. Like I was listening to Nipsey way before you were listening to Nipsey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that Nipsey is as great as everybody's saying he is. I think he was on his way there.
Okay.
I think the Victory Lap album, it was without a doubt his best album.
Right.
And I think that should he have continued on that path, you would have got another great album and another great album, and then he would have solidified his spot, and you'd have been like, oh, Nipsey's maybe the greatest to ever come out of the West Coast.
Right.
But I don't, for me, I don't see a reason to resurrect him.
Okay.
Now, Pun, every reason in the world. Pun is the guy who, we talk about it often, the craft of writing bars.
Right.
Pun is a guy who was a craftsman while also being like turning his voice and his vocals into an instrument. His delivery and his staccato, that kind of delivery coming out of that dude, right? You look at him and you don't think that he's got the breath control for that.
Right.
He don't got the breath control to turn the doorknob.
You ever seen his young pictures?
When he's buff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hunk.
He said the worst thing he ever did was he was selling drugs and he was working out all the time, and he got enough money to get him to buy a Porsche. And once he bought the Porsche, he saw like the effect it had on the women. He's like, I
never
want to get out of the Porsche again. So I would go to the drive-thru and eat all the time. Like,
Right,
he
right.
never wanted to get out of the car, and it's
And then he got to the point where he couldn't get out of the
right.
Porsche. They had to scrap the whole Porsche just to get him out.
He's
And
like
then
a baby with a walker.
then he only rode a Vespa after that.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea for that poor Vespa.
I think that Capital Punishment is up there in the top 10 greatest albums of all time.
Easily.
Might be put in the top 5. It's right on the brink of the top 5, if not in the top 5.
I make the case for it because it's one of the very few unskippables. Like there's no
you play
reason
it
to ever
through.
put forward on that.
My wife, who is a hip hop head,
Yeah.
however, that's she knows that album front. If you're the caliber of MC that Big Pun is,
Right.
and girls know your album front to back, you've done something spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, my wife also loves Bronson, and she knows good hip hop.
She's a little more in touch with the culture because of you.
Yeah. She knows. Well, she was hip hop before I ever came through.
Right.
That's part of the reason,
It worked.
But Capital Punishment, a great album.
Yeah.
100%. A pretty decent album.
It's a decent album, but also, isn't he dying during that album? Like, I don't think that album was finished before he died.
I don't know.
Because if I remember right, that's the album that he was recording while lying on a mattress and the mic was hanging over him because he couldn't breathe long enough to be standing up and rapping the whole time.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, so I think he's like... It's just like Life After Death, where you're getting some tracks that he recorded and they saw it all the way through, and then you're getting some like, all right, we have the track, let's just mix it and put it out.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have his seal of approval.
And because of that, right, that was like I look at it, even though it was a good album, that was probably his sophomore slump.
Okay.
So, if we get Pun back for a third and fourth album, look at Jay. Same time period, similar kind of thing, right?
Right.
Reasonable Doubt, considered one of the greatest albums of all time.
Right.
Volume 1?
Not so much. You got the Puffy influence.
Volume 2 got better.
Right.
Volume 3, all right.
Stayed at Volume 2's level.
Dynasty, great. Blueprint, great.
Right.
Black Album, great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, after he got through those first couple, it was just great albums through and through.
Once he figured out who he was.
Besides, of course, Kingdom Come, but, everybody slips up once in a while. And so I think that should we bring Pun back and get a third, fourth, fifth, and so on albums, I mean, it's going to, God knows what he would have did. He would have expanded outside of his normal style, which is what he started to do on 100%, or Yeah Baby.
Even his normal style on Capital Punishment is all over the place. Like, there's
Yeah.
love songs on there. There's, Saturday Night fucking songs. There's serious songs. Like, he pretty much...
Juice drink. Oh, no, that's Big, right? wrong big guy.
Wrong fat guy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the light-skinned fat guy.
Yeah, I mean, I bring back Pun without a doubt.
Okay. I think I agree with you almost all the way through on this. I agree with you that of these four, Guru is the least valuable. I'm going to call it valuable. He's the least valuable of these four. He's part of Gang Starr. They are a cornerstone of hip-hop. There's no question about it, but it's 70-30 Premier versus him.
Yep.
No question.
It's mostly the voice.
I think this is going to be hypocritical, but I think I agree with you about Nipsey, where he's getting more shine than he deserves because he died early.
Yeah.
I think a part of his shine is attached to he was apparently very instrumental in his community. Like, he did a lot for his community with the money that he was making.
Respectable.
And that's great. I have no problem with it. I'm not knocking it, but all of his respect wasn't just strictly these albums are incredible and we love you as an MC.
Right.
So I don't have the confidence you have that if I bring Nipsey back, I'm getting a big catalog of greatness.
Right.
I do have that confidence with Pun, even though he's only got one full album of being, while he's alive.
Yeah, but when you're great,
it
just shines through.
Like, I like Nipsey. I'm fine with Nipsey, but I don't think Nipsey has anything that comes close to the fifth best song on Capital Punishment.
Right.
But I think I bring back Nate Dogg, and this is the only reason why, and it's just an efficiency thing.
All right.
I only get to do this once for one person, and like you said, Nate Dogg can work into his 90s.
Yeah.
So I can bring Nate Dogg back today and have 7,000 more albums with Nate Dogg on it. If I bring Pun back today, maybe I get another 10. Maybe I get 10 albums, and that's incredible if I get 10 albums from him. But if I bring back Nate Dogg, and Nate Dogg is all over the place. He's working with West Coast.
Yeah, but he's everywhere. Not. He'll give you more.
Yeah.
But his more is not going to have the same oomph of what you get from Pun.
No, I'm with you. Pun is supreme.
Yeah.
Pun is head and shoulders over most any rapper you could name. But I think Nate Dogg is the more valuable. That's the word I keep using. That's the more valuable bring because he can. Nate Dogg is like the Michael McDonald of rap. Like, every album you hear his voice somewhere. Every time he's just running from studio to studio to studio, dropping bars and running around, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I bring back Nate. R.I.P. Pun. Also, I don't want to risk the opportunity for Pun to ruin his career, and then Capital Punishment isn't held in the same regard. Right?
No,
What if he puts out 5 garbage albums because that was the first album is always whole life is built up into that first album.
Nobody has put out an album of that caliber and then been trashed.
Fallen all the way off the cliff?
I can't think of somebody.
We're going to save that for next week so I can dig in on that one. That's an interesting call.
Think about
the first album is like a 5 mic album, and then after that you couldn't give a crap about it.
Yeah, but let's think about it, right? Nas.
Right. No, Nas has had an amazing career.
He's even till now. What has it been? 40 years?
Yeah.
90 says very few albums I could listen to straight through without skipping. I'm not a real hip hop and R&B guy.
That's fair.
Tupac Until the End of Time, maybe The Chronic, and Eminem's albums. All solid choices. I was trying to tell Pay last week that The Chronic is unbelievable, but for some reason he's got a chip on his shoulder against The Chronic. He hates it.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, he hates Dr. Dre and he hates The Chronic.
I don't recall that conversation at all. I'm going to go back and look at the videos.
Nas.
So here's a quick list of the 5.
Eminem had a great first album and then continued.
Here's 15 the original 15 albums from the source that got a 5 mic. So
Okay.
the ones that really actually earned it.
De La Soul is trash.
I don't think they're going to be
Tribe
on here.
Called Quest, get him out of here.
That's bullshit. Stop that. Because that's the first one that ever got 5
yeah,
mics.
get him out of here.
Was People's Instinctive Past. But look, so get him out of here, don't get him out of here. The next 2 albums after that are Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders. And you don't have to like them to admit or to agree that they are hip-hop classics. So they're definitely not one to put out a 5 mic and fell apart. Next after that is...
I'm not agreeing that they're hip-hop classics.
Find somebody who actually cares about hip-hop that disregards both the Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders.
Yeah, hello. You're looking at the guy.
But you're not real hip-hop. You didn't start till like 2002. You're a Cameron guy.
Here's what I'd like to tell you about them.
Okay. The next one after that is you can hold that up all you want. You can be wrong. It's your show. But
I'll take it down depending on who the next one is.
Next one is America's Most Wanted. It's Ice Cube.
I'm indifferent towards it.
All right, but not. There's an album and then he fell off a cliff. That's what we're looking for here.
He's a superstar.
Okay.
Even if his raps fell off, he's a superstar still. And he had a couple of joints because he went all the way to, you could do it, put your back into it.
Right. So then you got Let the Rhythm Hit Him, which is Eric B. and Rakim. So that's after Paid in Full, but before there's...
It's all that era of Eric B. and Rakim mushes together to me.
Yeah.
So give it to him. Give him 5 mics. It's
So
Rakim, goddammit.
Here's the first one that I'll give a maybe to.
God
it's
Rakim Allah.
One for All from Brand Nubian. And One for All is the one with Punks Jump Up on it. And that is a classic album. The second album, that might be one. We'll have to go back and look. Then De La Soul, which, fine, whatever you think. Then Low End Theory. So already they have 2 5 mic albums. Then Illmatic. Don't pick it now they think you're talking about Illmatic.
Now, Illmatic is the album.
Then Life After...
Arguably the greatest rap album of all time is Illmatic.
Life After Death.
Okay.
Aquemini.
You think Life After Death is better than Ready to Die?
I do not.
Me neither.
I think that the only reason Life After Death didn't get or Ready to Die didn't get the 5 mic treatment was because they were very stingy about 5 mics at the time.
Yeah.
And it walked in the shadow of Illmatic.
Yeah.
So again, Biggie didn't come out with his first album and fall off a cliff. Aquemini. So no, we're not gonna say a bad thing about Outkast ever. The Blueprint, we already talked about it.
Outkast.
Stillmatic is back around again. The Fix, and that's Scarface. So no, he's got a tremendous career. The Naked Truth. Oh, that's Lil' Kim.
That was her first album?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know what the Naked Truth was.
Notorious K.I.M.?
As far as I'm concerned, Lil' Kim had
Garbage.
one song.
And it was whatever Biggie wrote for her.
It was the Welcome to Brooklyn, Joan. Put your lighters up.
So Trillo G, which is UGK.
Uh-huh.
And then the last one on here is my beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So for the most part, the only one that I could...
Not a 5 mic album in my mind.
Not at all, but I'm not going to try to make the case that Kanye put out his first album and then disappeared.
They really... The sources really discredited themselves at this point.
I was just grabbing a list of
I know.
highly regarded...
I got
so
you.
the only one I could maybe make a case for, I think you're onto it. I think you're right. The only one who really I can make a case for on this list that had an incredible album and then really didn't follow up with anything is Brand Nubian at this point. So anyway, but if they had Nate Dogg on there, they probably would have had a hit.
You're damn right they would have. If we got Nate Dogg on the show, we'd probably increase our viewership 12-fold.
At least, considering it would be a zombie.
So what we're here to tell you is big news, big announcement. Next week, we got Nate Dogg on the show.
Live.
Yeah. Coming in. No, he's in studio.
Oh, he's coming in?
Yeah, we worked it out with his manager.
Nice.
He's going to be right here in the third chair next week live.
It's fine. We got to dust off the third chair. It's been a while.
Yep. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Hit the like button on the way out. If you haven't went over to the TWD channel, Thorough White Dude, go over there. And 90. I didn't realize you ride. We appreciate your input on all of our riding discussion tonight. LaPolo, have a wonderful night, buddy. Sorry you're so jazzed up. We're glad you're here. We appreciate you helping out the algorithm with 1,000 comments tonight.
Works.
We'll catch you guys next week. We will be here at 8:30 next Monday. And, we out of here.